This is Joe with Cloud First Labs. I'm here to demonstrate how to easily process documents using MuleSoft IDP, Intelligent Document Processing, and MuleSoft RPA, Robotic Process Automation. We're going to demonstrate this using the following basic use case, where invoice PDFs are going to be placed in a file folder, and an RPA process is going to read the PDFs from that folder, and for each PDF that it finds, it's going to trigger an IDP document action. It's going to execute that, and then once it has kicked off all of those document actions, it will intermittently check to see the result of that document action using the execution ID that it got from posting the original document action. So it will get in progress, and eventually the processing will be complete and the output will be provided by Intelligent Document Processing via this API call back to the RPA process, which the RPA process can then use the output in further processing. We won't show like this actual additional RPA processing, but think of it as, whatever data, like for instance, the total from the invoice could be used to, be entered into a web form somewhere or into a legacy system, or data from the IDP output could be sent in an API call somewhere. There are various different mechanisms by which that data could be used from RPA. So this is just kind of a blank slate that, it could be, the world is your oyster. Do with it what you will. But this is going to show how to successfully get the data out of Intelligent Document Processing. Now, we are not in this video going to show the actual Intelligent Document Processing side of things. We are going to reuse the extract invoice info document action that we used in a previous video. If you're looking for that previous video, you can find it at cloudfirstlabs.com/blog. The article is going to be titled Getting Started with MuleSoft IDP, or you can find it at our Cloud First Labs YouTube channel. And the title of the video is Easily Integrate MuleSoft IDP with your Mule API ecosystem. So that video is going to have the setup for this side of things, the MuleSoft IDP side of things, configuring the document action. This video is going to focus on how to utilize this IDP document action from within MuleSoft RPA. To take full advantage of the RPA and IDP integration, make sure you download at least version 6.6.0 or newer of RPA Builder from MuleSoft, because that is what gives you a couple of actions that you can add right into your RPA, a couple of action steps, a submit document to MuleSoft IDP action step, and a retrieve results from IDP action step. We are going to see those here within MuleSoft RPA. So let's go into RPA Builder and take a look at how we would accomplish this. So first, we're going to iterate over the files in the PDF directory. We can look for items in we can have an activity parameter to define the base path for the PDF directory and look for anything named PDF within that path. And then we're going to use that action step we just referenced, that submit doc to, and then, in this case, we're going to pick the action, the demo invoice extract action. We select a version and we tell it what path and file name to use. And what this does under the hood is it makes an API call, like we saw in the diagram. Let me pull that back up. So like we see over here, we've got an API interface on this document action. That same interface is being used by this submit document to MuleSoft IDP action step. And then you need credentials, you need a connected app, And again, that previous video that I referenced earlier has the steps to actually create that connected app so you use those credentials to connect to IDP. So that is how we would iterate and loop over this, and each time it's going to submit one document. So if we look at our folder, we see we have 3 invoice documents, simple invoice X, Y, and Z. We are going to loop over this. It'll be 3 times in this case. And each time it's going to save off the execution ID. So we're going to extract that from the response that we get from IDP. And then we're going to add that to an array, to our execution IDs array. And from there, we can get the array count once we're out of this once we're out of this loop. We're going to get the number of execution IDs that we have, and then we're going to loop over those. So at this point, we're going to start at 1, we're going to increment by 1, we're going to loop over each execution ID that we have, and for each one, we are going to use that execution ID to get the results from IDP. And so again, to pull this up, we're going to be looping, looping over this, and we're getting the result of each document action. Now this we might have to do over and over because it can take, it can take up to a few minutes for results to come back for a given document that we've provided to IDP. So for that purpose, here we're looping, up to 100 times. We're waiting 5 seconds in between each loop. But what we're doing is we're checking the status each time. And we say, hey, if the status is in progress, keep looping. If it's not in progress, this will raise an error. And at that point, so this is what we want to happen when it changes to status equals succeeded. This will raise an error. We'll come down here into the on error state. And at this point, it's not really an error so much as it's just we're using this for flow control. And so we come down here, we say force OK state, break out of this loop. So this is the little loop where for each execution ID, we're looping over and over until it's no longer in progress. And then we're going to use a JSON query to get the invoice total. In this case, this is our JSON path. We're going to grab the fields.total.value from the pages element of the JSON, that is the JSON result returned by the IDP process. And then in our case, the additional processing that we're doing, if we look at this, I don't have a real world use case that I'm applying here just for simplicity's sake. We are just going to pop up a message box that shows the successfully parsed total from IDP, and along with that, we'll spit out the entire JSON. So in the title, we're going to say, hey, for iteration, whatever iteration number it is, the total was, and we will list the total that was found by that JSON query. And then on top of that, we're going to just output the whole JSON result. So this is how easy it is to configure your MuleSoft RPA process to send a bunch of PDF documents to IDP and get results. So let's run this and see it in action. I'm going to fast forward just to the point where at the end we're getting this message box. We should see 3 different message boxes for the three PDFs in this input folder. So I'm going to run this and fast forward, and we will see these results. Okay, we fast forwarded and we're back. I missed iteration 1. The message box disappeared, but here's the JSON result from iteration 2. We see the total was successfully parsed, and one more time we're going to see iteration 3. The total was $630. We have the full JSON here, which can be used. We can do further JSON queries, and get the data that we truly need and care about and use it for additional RPA processing. So that shows how easy it is to integrate MuleSoft IDP with MuleSoft RPA and come up with a hyperautomation solution to, your imagination is the limit to the problem that it can solve. So thank you for your time, and keep checking back with us here at Cloud First Labs for more content related to MuleSoft, to Salesforce, and the world of integration and automation. Thank you.